Hi everyone, Doug from Day back from J. Bus Ups and might be the mix here. We're on the Stormscape episode 379. Right now is 1:05 Eastern Daylight Time here. And there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about in this episode of Stormscapes. So let's just jump right into it. So first off, I'm going to talk about the weather for my area. So right now, it's 76 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 degrees Celsius. Precipitation is 15%, humidity is 84%. Wind is 2 miles per hour, 3 kilometers per hour. Sun's kind of peeking its head out a little bit, as you might see behind me, but, yeah, because I do see, like, the sun a little bit. Sun kind of peeking out of the clouds a little bit. But, mostly cloudy. It was pretty foggy this morning. Excuse me. Due to a chance of some thunderstorms later on today, 4 o'clock, heavy thunderstorm. Looks like it's going to be cloudy, maybe possibly some more thunderstorms tonight. And then tomorrow, also more thunderstorms for my area. Monday, it looks like mainly showers with maybe possibly some rain at 7 a.m. from what Google's saying here. Yeah, Tuesday, it looks like it's going to be partly cloudy. Maybe some showers, maybe like some thunderstorms at night. Wednesday, showers, scattered thunderstorms. And Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week, so it's like maybe mostly sunny, probably cloudy, mostly sunny. So, yeah, definitely thunderstorms and chances of rain next few days. But we'll just have to see what happens. Yeah, but I mean, it's 1:07 Eastern Daylight Time right now. We do a chance of thunderstorm, means it's a Saturday, 4 p.m. heavy thunderstorm, precipitation 65%, so I might be streaming out later, but I'm not going to make any promises on that. But definitely a chance of some thunderstorm next few days. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on in my area for my weather right now. But excuse all the random ads that come up. We're going to talk about Hurricane Lee. So here's like the radar of Lee. I'm going to look at all these like dots here. So we're going to look at this one first. And this is Tropical Depression Lee. And this is on September 5th, 2023, at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds are 35 miles per hour. Movement was west-northwest at 15 miles per hour. And then this is Tropical Storm Lee on September 5th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then max winds at this time were 45 miles per hour. Movement was west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. And then still Tropical Storm Lee on September 5th, 2023 at 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds were 50 miles per hour. Movement was west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. And then Tropical Storm Lee on September 6, 2023 at 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds are 65 miles per hour. Movement was west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. And this Tropical Storm Lee on September 6, 2023. So still a tropical storm. This is at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds were 70 miles per hour. Movement was west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. Now Hurricane Lee is a hurricane now. So now it's Category 1 Hurricane Lee on September 6, 2023 at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max wind 75 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. Just making sure I'm clicking on the right one. Yeah, so on September 6, 2023 at 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, still Category 1 Hurricane, Category 1 Hurricane Lee. Max winds 80 miles per hour, movement west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. And now this is Category 1 Hurricane Lee. It's still Category 1 Hurricane at this time on September 7th, 2023 at 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds 80 miles per hour, movement west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. Now Hurricane Lee is a Category 2 hurricane. On September 7th, 2023 at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds 105 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 15 miles per hour. Okay, so let's look at this here. So, Category 2 Hurricane Lee at 11 a.m. on December 7th, 2023. And then about, 6 hours later, it was a Category 4 hurricane. So it went from a Category 2 to a Category 4 in, about 6 hours or so. Maybe even possibly less than that, because it was also, the forecast time when the advisories were sent out. But yeah, max winds were 130 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 15 miles per hour, Category 4 Hurricane Lee. And then, now it's a Category 5 hurricane. So Category 5 Hurricane Lee, this was on September 7th, 2023 at 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds were 160 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. And then, Category 5 Hurricane Lee is still Category 5 hurricane on September 8th, 2023 at 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So max winds 165 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. And then, making sure, just scroll down the right one. So yeah, still Category 5 hurricane, September 8th, 2023, 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Again, max wind 165 miles per hour. And then it goes back down to a Category 4 hurricane. But still, though, Category 4 hurricane, it's still pretty intense, pretty dangerous. And this is on September 8th, 2023, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds 155 miles per hour, move west-northwest at 14 miles, at west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. And then Category 4 Hurricane Lee, September 8th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds 150 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. And then this and then on September 8th, 2023, 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, is now a Category 3 hurricane. Max winds 115 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. And then Category 3 Hurricane Lee on September 9th, 2023 at 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds 115 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. And then this is the current advisory, or the latest advisory. Still Category 3 hurricane. This is on September 9th, 2023, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds 115 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. And here's some of the other advisories here. So, still Category 3 hurricane at this forecasted time. This is in the future now, and this is on September 9th, 2023, which is today, at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds will be are forecasted to be 115 miles per hour, moving at west-northwest at 10 miles per hour. And then Category 3 Hurricane Lee, this is on September 10th, 2023 at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds will be 120 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 10 miles per hour. And then Category 3 Hurricane Lee, September 10th, 2023, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds 125 miles per hour. Movement will be west-northwest at 10 miles per hour. That's forecasted. Again, that's the forecast time. And then it looks like it could possibly go back up to a Category 4 hurricane. And the forecast time for this is on September 11th, 2023 at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds will be 130 miles per hour. Movement will be west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. And then Category 4 Hurricane Lee on September 11th, 2023. Again, the forecast time at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds will be 140 miles per hour. Movement will be west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. And then still a Category 4 hurricane. At least that's the forecast that will be a Category 4 hurricane at this time on September 12th, 2023 at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds will be 140 miles per hour. Movement will be west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. Then Category 3 Hurricane Lee on September 13th, 2023 at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds will be 125 miles per hour. Movement will be northwest at 5 miles per hour. And then Category 3 Hurricane Lee, this forecast time is for September 14th, 2023 at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Max winds will be Max winds 120 miles per hour, north-northwest at 5 miles per hour is the predicted movement. Lee's going to be a very long track storm, possibly could become a Category 4 hurricane again. I also do have an article up here as well that we're going to read off right now. It says, Hurricane Lee falters, but expected to re-strengthen, dangerous swells to build along U.S. coast. At a glance, Lee is fighting wind shear and has weakened significantly. Its intensity will rebound this weekend. It's too soon to tell what land areas this hurricane may threaten next week. Bermuda, the northeast U.S. coast, and Atlantic Canada should monitor the forecast closely. Dangerous high surf, rip currents, and coastal flooding are likely along the east coast next week. Hurricane Lee is fighting wind shear as it passes north of the Leeward Islands and ahead of an uncertain turn that could bring potential impacts later next week in Bermuda, Atlantic Canada, and possibly parts of the northeast seaboard. Here is where the system is now. Hurricane Lee is about 350 miles east-northeast of the northern Leeward Islands and moving west-northwest. Hurricane Lee's over open water right now. This is a satellite at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. There's Hurricane Lee right there. Enhanced satellite, the highest cloud tops corresponding to the most vigorous convection are shown in the dark red and pink colors. Clustering deep convection around the center is a sign of a healthy tropical cyclone. Moderate to strong wind shear is affecting the hurricane, which has induced some weakening since early Friday. Some additional weakening is possible on Saturday, but this wind shear ought to abate this weekend, and Lee should re-strengthen by early next week amid otherwise favorable conditions. Warm ocean water and a moist environment contributed to Lee's explosive strengthening in recent days. In fact, water temperatures in part of the Atlantic Ocean were recorded warm in August. These ingredients remain in place. Some fluctuations are expected over the next several days due to wind shear and the possibility of eyewall replacement cycles. Here's where Lee will go over the next 5 days. Fortunately, Lee's center will pass well north of the northern Leeward Islands, including Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Those areas could still see outer bands of showers, some gusty winds, dangerous surf and rip currents, and particularly along north and northeast facing coasts. After that, the forecast may become more uncertain due to its recent intensity struggles and a midweek northward turn. So this is Hurricane Lee at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Current information, 115 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. So there's Lee right there, and on Saturday evening, it says 115 miles per hour winds. Sunday evening, 125 miles per hour winds, and Tuesday a.m., 140 miles per hour. Wednesday morning, 125 miles per hour, then Thursday morning, 120 miles per hour for the winds. Current status and forecast path. The red shade area denotes the potential path of the center of the tropical cyclone. It's important to note that impacts particularly heavy rain, high surf, and coastal flooding winds, with any tropical cyclone usually spread beyond its forecast path. Next week's forecast is uncertain for Bermuda, Atlantic Canada, and possibly the northeast U.S. By Wednesday, Hurricane Lee will swap steering mechanisms and turn toward the north. Initially, Lee will be steered toward the west-northwest by the Bermuda High. This part of the forecast is highly certain. A northward turn is eventually expected midweek as Lee begins to feel a dip in the jet stream and a strengthening low pressure over the Great Lakes. Exactly where and when this swap occurs is uncertain, which leads to a larger spread in computer guidance and drop in certainty in the latter half of next week. And the later Lee makes that northeast turn, the greater the chance it could track near enough to parts of New England and Atlantic Canada to at least bring some rain and wind there late next week. For now, the trends in the ensemble computer model guidance over the last several days suggest recurve likely will not be sharp enough to avoid all land areas, and this turn has gradually been delayed, but confidence in such a turn is high. Yet another uncertainty being introduced is how fast Lee can get going once it is picked up by the dip in the jet. Yet another uncertainty is being introduced is how fast Lee can get going once it is picked up by the dip in the jet stream. The trend has generally been toward slower northward progress. So this is the ensemble forecast model tracks for the next 7 days. So there's the jet stream right there, and then Lee to find a lane northward. Look at all the spaghetti models. Dome of high pressure slides east. There's high pressure right there. Computer guidance is shown by the skinny gold euro and the white GFS lines. So the white lines are the GFS, and then like the golden lines are like the euro models, all the spaghetti models. So yeah, I mean, it could possibly hit Atlantic Canada, or like maybe like New England, like they were saying, possibly. Also complicating this is, as with most Atlantic hurricanes, Lee's wind field will become larger as it moves north next week. Dangerous surf will occur. One certainty with Lee's track, regardless of exactly where it goes, is that it will generate dangerous high surf, rip currents, coastal flooding, even beach erosion along the eastern seaboard next week. That's particularly the case from the North Carolina to New England. That's particularly the case from North Carolina to New England. Given the storm's initial slow movement and increasing size, this coastal flooding will likely occur over multiple days and high tide cycles. Keep in mind, if you have plans, if you live near or plan to head to the Atlantic beaches next week, stay out of the water, especially if red flags are flying at the beach. So Lee's high surf mid to next week, so there's Lee right there, generates high surf rip currents. As with most hurricanes, this forecast is subject to change. Check back with us at weather.com for the latest on this and the 2023 hurricane season. Lee's history so far. Lee became the 13th storm of the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season Tuesday afternoon and the 4th hurricane of the season late Wednesday afternoon. That was over a week ahead of the average 4th hurricane pace of September 16th, according to National Hurricane Center data. Lee tracked history and water temperatures. So the yellow means depression, orange storm, red hurricane, and then like the pinkish color is like category 3+, and then darker blue. The blue means cool, and then like yellow, orange, red, purple-ish color, very warm. So I mean, like we were talking about before, like at the beginning here of the yellow, the Lee was a depression, then a storm, tropical storm, and then came a hurricane, and then now it's a category 3+. Right now it's category 3, could possibly turn to category 4 again, like we were talking about before. And so over very warm ocean water right now. That's also partly why it intensified so quickly, because it's over a lot of like really, really, really warm ocean water here. And like, I mean, some of the water temperatures here, I mean, it's like, 83.8 degrees Fahrenheit, 83.1 degrees Fahrenheit, 83.7 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, like very warm ocean temperatures, which, that's why I have rapid intensification, because of all the very, very, very warm ocean waters and ocean temperatures. Lee then underwent explosive rapid intensification, going from Category 1 to a Category 5 hurricane in just 18 hours Thursday. Only 3 other Atlantic hurricanes since 1982 have seen their winds increase by 80 miles per hour in 24 hours or less since 1982, most recently Matthew in 2016. It was the fastest 24-hour intensification anywhere in the Atlantic Basin outside of the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea in 41 years, according to Kirian a Princeton scientist, I'm sorry if I said that name wrong, according to Kiran Bhatia, a Princeton scientist, again, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This is a post on Twitter, Twitter X. Fly and None, nice lightning show in the eye of Hurricane Lee this morning. And we'll watch that right now. Turn my headphones to speakers so you can hear that. But yeah, look at this. Wow. And again, that is in the eye of Hurricane Lee. Wow. And the sustained winds of 160 miles per hour were recorded by Hurricane Sustained winds of 160 miles per hour were recorded by Hurricane Reconnaissance Thursday evening. Sustained winds of 160 miles per hour were recorded by Hurricane Reconnaissance Thursday evening, making it the first Category 5 hurricane since Ian in 2022. Prior to Lee, only 39 other Atlantic hurricanes have reached Category 5 intensity over the past 100 years. Wow. But yeah, we really do have to see what happens with Hurricane Lee. Definitely the Atlantic Canada, Bermuda, New England, definitely, and Northeast. I mean, I live in the Northeast, I live in Northwest New Jersey, but, definitely we're going to have to watch out, for Lee, see where it goes, see what happens to it, because, this is going to be a very long track storm, so we're just going to have to see what happens, wow, though. Here's some more of the computer models of where it might possibly go. Again, possibly, this computer model looks like it's showing, it might possibly hit, Atlantic Canada, southeastern Canada. We really just gotta see what happens. And this is the Hurricane Lee GEFS tracks. So, again, it might possibly affect, the Northeast, Bermuda, they're talking about in that article, New England, possibly even, again, Atlantic Canada. So, we really just gotta see what happens. Hurricane Lee. Here's all these random ads that come up. Yeah, Hurricane Lee model track guidance. So, yeah, it's gonna turn north midweek. But we definitely just gotta see what happens. So now I do want to talk about the 6.8 magnitude quake. Morocco earthquake death toll soars to more than 1,000. Wow. At a glance, a magnitude 6.8 earthquake struck. Yeah, at a glance, a magnitude 6.8 earthquake struck the Moroccan capital of Marrakech. A magnitude 6.8 earthquake struck the Moroccan capital of Marrakech late Friday night. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. More than 1,000 were killed and over 1,200 others were injured. Rescuers struggled to reach some remote villages due to impassable roads. At least 1,037 people were killed late Friday night when a magnitude 6.8 earthquake shook Morocco for several seconds. The earthquake struck at 11:11 p.m. local time, 6:11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, about 43 miles south of Marrakech, the capital of Morocco. And again, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. As of late Saturday morning, Morocco's Interior Ministry said that over 1,000 others were injured, according to the Associated Press. The quake was the hardest hit in Morocco in 120 years. Wow, AP reported. And in the country's ancient cities, it toppled buildings and walls and made from stone and masonry, not designed to withstand quakes. The problem is that where destructive earthquakes are rare, buildings are simply not constructed robustly enough to cope with strong ground shaking, so may collapse, resulting in high casualties. Bill McGuire, professional Emeritus of Geophysical and Climate Change Hazards at University College London, told AP. I would expect the final death toll to climb into the thousands once more is known. As with any big quake, aftershocks are likely, which will lead to further casualties and hinder search and rescue. Videos shared on social media sites showed buildings crumbled, the famous red walls that surround the old city in Marrakech were damaged, AP reported. Wow. A resident navigates through the rumble on September 9th, 2023, following a 6.8 magnitude quake in Marrakech, Morocco. Wow, look at that. That's just devastating. CNN reported that thousands of people ran out of homes and buildings after the country's National Institute of Geophysics warned of aftershocks. The U.S. Geological Survey reported a magnitude 4.9 aftershock hit 19 minutes after the initial quake. The quake was felt as far away as Portugal and Algeria, according to the Portuguese Institute for Sea and Atmosphere and Algeria's Civil Defense Agency, which oversees emergency response. Abdirahim Aidit Daoud, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Abdirahim Aidit Daoud, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please correct me if I am. Leader of the town of Tala and Yaqub told a Moroccan news site that officials were working to clear roads so that ambulances could reach the affected areas. He said several homes in nearby towns have partly or totally collapsed. Wow. And electricity was cut off in some places. The long distance between the mountain villages could mean it'll take time before the extent of damages and injuries is known, AP reported. This is a video on Twitter.
هاد البلاصة سميتها أمسكن إقليم الحوز بقات لنا 36 كيلومتر الإيغيل البلاصة واخا الطريق عامرة بالطوموبيلات الناس طالعين كلشي طالع معانا باش نشوف العائلات ديالهم.
That's just devastating. That really is just devastating. Wow. I mean, that's just so bad. Wow. A resident of the town of Azni in the foothills of the high Atlas Mountains told CNN, I barely got a chance to grab the kids and run out before I saw my house collapsing in front of my eyes. The neighbor's house has also collapsed, and there are 2 dead people under the rubble. This is a developing story. Please check back for updates. Wow. There's a video here too, and I guess we'll watch that. I'm gonna mute this audio here real quick though. You can skip it.
100 people, 800 people are dead after a devastating 6.8 earthquake. Large areas of historic Marrakesh were destroyed, including a storied mosque. The USGS says it's the strongest quake to hit the region in more than a century. Fears of aftershocks forced dozens of residents and tourists to spend the night outside, away from any compromised buildings.
And so why was this earthquake in particular so impactful? Well, part of it is the magnitude, 6.8, that's up there, right? But think about a light bulb that has a wattage. If that wattage is at the top of a very tall ceiling, it doesn't put that much light on top of your head. But if that light bulb is right in front of your face, the same wattage is much brighter. Well, that's the depth. That's why this earthquake, at a depth of only a few miles below the surface, was able to shake that surface so dramatically and cause that video that you saw, with so many buildings that are crumbled and unfortunately so many lives lost already. We'll continue to update you on that sad.
Wow, that was just so devastating. I mean, wow. I mean, that's just awful. That's just like, it's so devastating. I mean, maybe over 1,000 people dead. Maybe even more. I mean, that's just really devastating. And over a century, over 120 years. Yeah, the hardest, I mean, again, the quake was the hardest hit to hit Morocco in 120 years. Wow, and over 1,000 were injured. Or the death toll soars to more than that. Wow. That's just devastating. That's just devastating. Like, that's just awful. That's just so bad. So bad. Wow.
Continues in Morocco as the death toll tragically keeps climbing higher and higher. More than 1,000 people are now confirmed dead after a devastating 6.8 earthquake. Large areas of the historic Marrakesh and other ancient cities were destroyed. The USGS says it's the strongest quake to hit the region in more than a century. Fears of aftershocks forced dozens of residents and tourists to spend the night outside, away from compromised buildings.
Yeah, this is a pretty powerful earthquake for two reasons. One, it was over 6.8 magnitude, but look at the depth, 11.4 miles. It doesn't, sound very, deep, and if you're walking, that's a long way. But in terms of earthquakes, that's pretty shallow, which means the waves are stronger towards the surface and create a lot of shaking. So it's, unfortunately, we've been seeing this.
Wow. Marrakesh. And just, look at some of this here. Look at all the damage there in Marrakesh. Breaking quake epicenter 44 miles southwest of Marrakesh, and that's just devastating. Again, it just really is devastating. It's just really devastating. It's just honestly heartbreaking. It's like over 1,000 people have died because of this massive earthquake. Again, 6.8 magnitude. Wow. Over a century, over 120 years to hit Morocco. And that's just awful. It's just devastating. Wow. And again, look at all the damage there. Again, resident navigates through the rumble on September 9th, 2023, following a 6.8 magnitude quake in Marrakesh, Morocco. Wow. That's just awful. Heartbreaking. Again, at least 1,037 people were killed late Friday night when a magnitude 6.8 earthquake shook Morocco for several seconds. Just so devastating. I'm really just hoping I'm just hoping, like, everyone's okay. And just, it's so devastating, It's just so devastating. I'm just hoping, like, the death toll won't continue to rise. I mean, even one person dead is way too many. But the fact that there's over 1,000 people, possibly maybe even more, that are dead, that's just so devastating. It's heartbreaking, honestly. I mean, it's so sad. So sad. And I really do hope that things will get better, and I do hope the death toll doesn't rise, but it's so devastating, though. So devastating. Wow. And more than 1,000 were killed, and over 1,200 others were injured. Wow. Just so bad. Just devastating, just heartbreaking, honestly. I mean, again, over 1,000 people dead, over 1,200 injured. I mean, that might possibly even go up, with all the aftershocks, and, they're still searching. I mean, wow. I mean, again, it's just devastating. It really is. Wow. But I hope that all of you enjoyed this live stream. Please definitely do stay safe out there, everyone. But, please just stay safe out there, everyone. And I'll see all of you next time. Please stay safe out there, everyone. And I'll see all of you next time. Bye, everyone.